Well, well, well. Season that started a long, long time ago, all the way back at Daytona, finally meets its end. Almost a month late. Not quite a month late, but certainly getting there. The race for the inaugural NASCAR Chat Series Championship really going to come down to two cars. It is your points leader in the number 3, starting near the back of the pack. And where is our other contender? It is D. Kuzmic, who actually starts 5th. The NASCAR Chat Series finale at Talladega is about to get underway. I'll tell you what, if this race ends the way it starts, might just be looking at a little bit of an unexpected comeback in the race for the championship. The closest competitor that Pat has takes the lead on lap 1. Pole sitter Jeff back to 3rd off the drop of the green flag. Now making a pass for the lead is Yo Gamer. That 56 car led the point standings, I would think, for more than half the year, especially in the middle part of the year. I wasn't sure anybody was going to catch the 56, and remember just how long that car went. It was 3 or 4 races before the 56 did not earn stage point. Like he had stage points in stage 1 and stage 2 for like the first 3-4 races, I swear. It was ridiculous. The finishing position wasn't all that great. That's really what was leading his campaign for the points battle on the year. He was finishing tops in these stages quite often. Third line trying to form. Means Jeff is going to get hung out to dry here. Led by Rowdy Burns on the outside. TBNR cars. Brayton Lester in his NASCAR Chat Series debut. Back in behind. And again, we apologize to Brayton. I wanted to put him in a car of his own that he drives in ARCA. Though there aren't really any in trading paints. And I wanted to put him in a pizza car, and there were no good ones outside of the $1.99 Costco pizza car. So that's what he's got. And of course, it is weird to have a field that includes Travis Pastrana, and Pastrana not driving the 199. Back up to the front, there's also a new look on the 62. Ever so slightly, it was a Logitech car for a long time. It's one of the Anthony Alfredo cars, and this is too. The new white scheme. Figured we'd throw something special on it, just in case it had a good day. Important to note, we were not incident-free the first trip to Talladega this year. It's a good start. Way better than Daytona all the way back in February. Remember, we had the crash on lap 1 that involved the 3rd car in the inside line, the 48 of Gumby. Derailed that car's whole season. And another bad thing for the 3 car, who is moving his way up the field, is that 62 being up front can earn points for leading the most laps today. Rowdy Burns a drop to the inside. Save Pat from that terror for now. The AI is okay at plate racing. I would like to see the AI actually try and make a middle or outside lane consistently work. Because the way that it works right now, it's get clear of the leader, who's always going to be on the inside, drop down, and then it's just a cycle. It's a little bit better than what we started the season with, and it might be due to the skill of the AI, I'm not really sure. Pat's moved to the inside lane. Not sure if that's a smart place to be. Pole sitter Jeff back to the front, looking for his first NASCAR Chat Series win. And would you believe it, the 4-car. Another one with an outside chance at the championship today, despite Austin's best efforts. He'll lead lap 7, or rather lap 6, and has made his way from 25th all the way up to the lead. Just showing Pat that it can be done. Austin and Jeff, two cogs of the God Squad, if you will. Caleb another way back in traffic, and then myself. Where am I? Sitting 20th. Brought back the hot and now scheme from Daytona for this race. Feels like a good spot on the racetrack to go around in car around Talladega for a lap. Well, not a lot happening on that inside, as we talked about before. While we were in car, shake up at the front of the field, Cal Naughton Jr. has got the lead. Squid will take that lead away. Squid, a winner this year at Darlington, which was unfortunate because it was the only car in that field that didn't have a throwback scheme on it. Pat in the 3 is certainly making his way to the front, up into 6th place, and even some stage points. Even some stage points. If he scores better stage points than the 62, it's going to come up in the 3's favor even more. A long way to go, even to the end of stage 1 here. 10 laps in, stage 1 ends at lap 60. TBNR Cars, late addition to this field. I think he's run 3 races. He'll get his time to shine at the front of the field at Talladega. In fact, we have a lot of late additions to the field up front right now. Cal Naughton Jr., if we want to include him, he only raced about half the year. Brayton on the outside in the 199 in his debut in this series. The inside lane is quite strong right now. A lot of cars down there. Outside lane doesn't really seem to be going anywhere but backwards. Luke is 4th in line on the bottom, and the number 9 just hasn't really ever since we started the chat series in iRacing. Go back to the Bonstas and anything else. That car, it's had some moments. It's had some moments, Lucas's Hooters car, but never able to get it done. The stalling of that outside lane appears to be at least paused for now. They're not losing any more ground. Maybe I spoke too soon. They're now 4 cars back. Lane on the outside trying to make something happen. I feel like this camera's a little bit too far away. Let's not go there. I do have to say that at least the default camera package way better here at Dega than it was at like Bristol or Darlington or something like that. That outside, that middle lane rather, not going anywhere, and now it's going to start to invite some guys from the inside to that middle lane. Lucas wanted to get out there, and instead of picking up Cal Naughton Jr., they're just going to slipstream right by him. The whole thing is broken apart. Well, it might not be the sucker hole. The outside lane actually looks like they're going to get left out to dry, but Lucas will lead the lap. And then drop all the way to the bottom. Evo in the 24, leading the outside group, notoriously a poor qualifier. They're showing up in some races this year. Of course, won the All-Star race with a bold pit call. Almost a Jeff Burton-esque pit call in the All-Star race. And now he's going to get down into the sucker hole, it does appear. Something a little bit close in the back of the pack between the 94 of Bill Elliott and the 5 of Aiden. Looked like it could have been disasters. We're looking to be 4 wide here. And we are in some places. Well, we got a little racy. 89 back to the point. Can he clear Lucas? If he can, he'll probably just leave the 24 just right out to dry, except the 3-car path. Gonna get in there. We do have a group of cars at the back of the field that have lost the draft. None of which are any too concerning to anybody. It's Natalie Decker, Haley Deegan, Smee, and Will Power. Not sure what happened with those guys. Now they're going to get formed up, at least for the time being, maybe with some hopes of catching the lead group again as the 89 continues to lead. Pat's still working on fighting his way up. The 62 really just hasn't had much of anywhere to go. You're just trapped on the inside, and there's a strong middle lane. There's not a lot that can be done for you. So gone back down to pretty much 2 lanes. It's Yo Gamer and Ricky Bobby back there that are trying to form a third, but they'll join back up as we're back to follow the leader. Dollar sign to the outside. Nobody's going to go with him. Points leader in Pat is indeed your leader. Winner at Daytona back in August. And in fact, it was these 2 cars up at the front of the field, the 24 and the 3. Evo with the last lap pass to take the lead, and Pat off turn 4 stole the win away. This area going to try and make a 3rd line. Leave Evo up the rye again. And of course, important to note that this race will be won or lost likely on fuel. Minimal amount of cautions that we've got at these super speedway races. You do see some spreading out of the field. See if that's the case here today. Your Talladega winner back in the spring is actually one of the last cars in line in this league group. That's the 46 of Ash. Got that lone win at Talladega. It was a big win. Unfortunately, Trading Paints was not on Ash's side that day. The beautiful City Chevrolet car did not load in. Right. kind of pulling a Jimmy Johnson, a Denny Hamlin, riding around in the back, just biding your time. Up at the front of the field, one of the mid-season additions. The 18 car, this area, is taking the lead away from Pat. I don't think anybody else has lost the draft, and concerningly for the cars that did, and I mean, it's not unexpected to see the big pack continue to pull away from that group of four. And Lord knows how organized they are back there. Probably not very much. Really strong contender, though, is this 89 car. This team running in just its second race. TBNR Car's debut was just before, he joined the series just before the Darlington throwback race, so I threw him in the Morgan Shepherd Racing for Jesus car. The scheme he actually wanted, he had to wait a long time to see. But now he gets to see it at the front of the field at Dega. Austin leading the outside group. Mark Martin and Lucas in close proximity. It'll get cut out of the YouTube edit, but tail end of qualifying, Mark Martin spun the 9 car on pit road. As we have a couple more that appear to have lost the draft, at least temporarily. Me and Dale Jr. try and get a toe off Carl Edwards to stay in the mix. And I'm not sure what happened back there to cause that. Looks like we're going to be okay. Oh, we're back in it. We're back in it. Speaking of back in it, 4-car back to the lead. 62 still is just not able to free himself from the bottom. Really close, like it almost to the point that he could slide up to the middle if he wanted. I think another car would have to get clear, and I mean, he's clear up right now. I'd take it. I'd certainly take it. Mark Martin to the lead, pushed by Evo. And he'll drop down. Very two distinct lanes again. The main pack has about a half a straightaway on the 4 that lost the draft. That is Jordo, your Daytona 500 winner, trying to make a 3rd lane, but nobody's going with her. Estrada's thinking about it. Nobody willing to do it. We'll go on board for a lap with the 43, see if anything changes. Well, the only thing that changed was that there's no longer a 3rd lane. 43 back to the, I guess, the high lane. There's nobody on the outside right now. Oh, but in that, and I didn't even really pay attention that much, the 62 has made it to the outside and has gotten around the 3-car Pat, who's buried back on the inside lane and behind Miss Aaron. Stage points for both of those cars, the 62 and the 3. So very important today. keep your opponent out of the stage points and pick up some yourself, especially for that 62. Claw his way back ever so slightly. And maybe we'll have a race for this at the end and it won't be decided. Tell you what, look who's leading. I know he's getting passed right now, but the 35 at Caleb, we hadn't really talked about him much, is Tony Stewart. I mean, this whole front group just flipped on its head. Where was Aiden 3 laps ago? Where was Caleb? Where was Stewart? Where was Bobby? Where was Ash? Ash is third on the outside lane. I was flirting with losing the draft a few laps ago, and now I'm sitting in 10th. Losing more ground. The 62 gaining more, just outside of the stage points momentarily. Like Aiden almost wanted to make a move to the outside. Caleb wanted to drop to the bottom. There was a little bit of a snake going on there. And isn't this so much better? So much better than what we witnessed at Bristol. If we were Tokyo drifting around Talladega like we were at Bristol, we were going to be having some problems. But Aiden was the first mid-season addition, actually, in terms of chat members. I don't think we've seen him in chat since, but he joined the series, so he's here. Leading in the finale. 62 looking real good there. Now solid, I won't say solidly in the top 10. Certainly making moves. The outside lane's the place to be to go forward, so keep it up out there, and Pat just continues to fall back. He might be clear up if he wanted to jump to the outside. Maybe it's still a little bit early to start planning that. Might be content to just ride around for a little bit. New leader at Talladega, of all places, Ricky Bobby. Up to the 26 over the 62 car. I think we did that for the Coke 600 in that mess of a race. And now Ash. Right, I know, it's me and you again. This is very similar to how Talladega in the spring ended, except in reverse order. And look who I'm getting the push from. Big stack up with Dale Jr. back there. I don't know what that was all about. But the 62 back to the front. What has Pat done? Has he made it to the outside lane yet? Yes. So looking to lead even more laps, but Jordan with a 43 on the outside, looking to lead it. Looks like she will. The push from Travis Pastrana. Whoa, that was tight there for Pastrana, and I don't know why he wanted to do it, but he did. So he'll slot into second. Outside lane loses a little momentum. Squid's gonna drop to the bottom. I guess we could be nearing pit stops, but it feels a little early. I want to say it's anywhere from like 35 would probably be a little bit early still. I'm thinking more 38 to 40, but who knows? And no, they didn't drop to the bottom of the pit. Big push for the 18 to take the lead. I do think the 43 led another lap though. And now Pat's back in front of the 62. Race we'll be watching all day. And importantly here, 29 laps in, just about halfway through stage 1. No problems as of yet. Let's do a quick check on the group at the back of the field. They're still just running in line. I would think they're doing just about everything they can right now. If they just hold that formation, you're helping yourself out. You get too wide, start trying to pass each other, nothing good's gonna happen. And even still, it's not helping them out. The only thing the only reason it's a help is that they're not losing as much ground. Well, another time in blimp cam, the 4 back to the front. If you don't lead a lap here today, there's something wrong with you. 62s yet again made the move. How about the move from TVNR cars to the outside? Try and challenge the 4 again. You don't often see that from second place. 89 looking pretty racy today. Real life drivers up here. Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, Martin Truex Jr., Ricky Bobby, and Rowdy Burns, if you want to count them. Stewart going to slot down into second. It's going to be another lap led for the 89. That is one thing that I wish I was able to keep track of in live timing is laps led, so we could get a bit of a closer look as to who's going to get those 5 bonus points for leading the most laps a little bit sooner. Because really, we just have to guess the majority of the time, and at a place like Talladega, could literally be anybody. But I would think the 89 is a strong contender early. I'll give the 89 the edge over probably the 62. Speaking of the 62, kind of back in it right now. Back in 18th place. What's the back of this field? As long as you stay with this field, then things are going to be okay for you. Top 10 dominated by Chevrolets, 3 Toyotas, and a Ford mixed in there. I don't know what's going on with Dale Jr. It looks like he just continuously has problems. I don't know if he tries to get a run from all the way in the back, try and make something happen. He's going to go to the outside here. For the moment, nobody going to go with him. Slight little breakaway. But man, isn't it nice not to have what we had at Daytona? If you remember all that, it was like the tandem draft was back. You get 2, 3, 4 car breakaways, and it just wasn't the super speedway race that you expected to see. And thankfully, when we went to Talladega the first time, we never saw that. Haven't seen it thus far today. Didn't see it at Atlanta, and didn't even see it in the return trip to Daytona. So even our cars may have been right in the fact that there were some tweaks. The iRacing AI. Should be good. So we have 26 to go in this opening stage. think we are certainly heading towards our first pit stops of the day, which could be a real shakeup, especially for the car that makes that move first. If you are the car that pits first, you better hope at least a group of 5 or 6 are coming with you. You just can't pit by yourself. What? This AI? Just never know. Back group now 17 seconds back. I don't even know if there's something that can shake up in the pit stops that can really get them back into this. They just, their best hope is to stay on the lead lap for the remainder of stage 1, and I think they're on target to do that. I think it's... Well, let's see. What's the best times that we've seen so far? Yeah, about 50 second lap, so we've got plenty buffer right now, which is good news. It's 89. I don't think anybody's led for as long a stints as this car has. So we're getting close to the window where I expected pit stops to start coming, about lap 38 to 42. Nobody's made that move yet. On to a little bit of a wider cam as we approach the pit cycle here. Get a better look as to when somebody actually does come down the pit lane. Championship race 62 is indeed in stage point position. The 3 is not. As we do have our first car into the pit lane, and it wasn't who I expected it to be. It's me. By himself. That wasn't very smart. You were already up against it. So, pretty much called that lap 38. Is the first move to the pit lane. TB on our cars. He might be coming down solo. Certainly looked like it to me. Now, if there's a massive group that pits this time around, maybe you're going to be okay, but I don't know if I like that move, but we'll see how it works out. We've seen some bizarre pit strategy pay off before in iRacing. Natalie Decker, she pits solo. Probably get back with Smee at some point. 3 cars back to lead. There's a lot of shuffling going on. I would imagine from the cars that are looking to stay out and the cars that are not. But out of 4, nobody to the pit lane from the lead group that time. And I think the longer that this group stays out, the worse it is for the 89 car. 39 seconds off the lead right now with no friends. You can see the pack in the background there. Well, at least he's only racing for a race win, not a championship. Will Powers win. Jeff got the lead. Rowdy Burns going to get to the outside. He'll take the lead momentarily. The way these cars are breaking up, it's like they want to come down the pit lane, but they're not doing it yet. Oh, they stay out so much longer. Here's 4 cars coming down the pit lane. Jeff Misseri, Austin, and Tony Stewart. Rowdy Burns, your leader. Longer for everybody else. 89 holding his own for the moment. He's 45 seconds off the pace of these leaders. Second stop for Jeff. It was a pretty quick one. 40 seconds down the pit lane. Here's 4, 5, 6, 7 cars to the pit lane. And your points leader is one of them. I think that's a smart call. I think that's a very smart call. Now, I know Pat pretty much led them into the pit lane there, but you got the biggest group to come out of the pits with, so... I mean, the more cars you lose from this lead group, too, the slower you're going to go. Still got a pretty decently sized pack for now. Man, I think that 62 needs to get to the pit lane quick. You're really possibly flirting with nothing good happening. And here comes a bunch of them. 62 not included. 71 of Red Wings inherits the lead for the first time today. And the 62 of D. Kuzmic is playing the long game. 89 of TBNR cars is going to be at risk of getting lapped this time around. But I just can't think that these cars here can stay out that much longer. Be able to get around the 89 or get picked off by the 89. I guess they're just going to pick him up. Well, an interesting call there. I think he's going to be by himself again very soon. We're going to be left with 2 cars yet to pit. Aiden and Ash, the only 2 that have stayed out this long. Ash leads the lap by a sliver. Still a lot of shaking out to do with how this first pit cycle will go. Looks to be a decent chunk of cars that have the potential to group up the road here. Oh man, no, it was just the angle. There's actually a pretty good gap between all those cars. The 89 through all of this. Oh man, and Ash can't get down to the bottom. With the 89 in the way. Well, the question was asked, how is iRacing going to screw the 46 car this week? And it might be these 2 cars running side by side and the 46 runs out of gas. So I think we're approaching debris caution. Interesting time for that. As those commands in live timing just do not work, so we'll have to type it in manually. Yellow flag will come out. I wonder if live timing is working at all. Like, it kinda is, but I don't know how much. Well, oddly enough, if there was anybody that was helped out by that yellow flag, it probably was the 89 of TBNR cars as Ash runs out of gas on the pit lane. The right move, perhaps a lap too late to throw a piece of roll bar padding out onto the racetrack, or a bush light can. You just never know. It is Red Wings and Jordo as the front row as we get back underway at Talladega. We'll have just 12 laps to go in stage number 1. Rowdy Burns leads our first lap. Back under green. In terms of the points, 3-car sitting top 10 right now in 6th. Second car in the outside lane in behind Jordo. The 62 is buried a little bit. Kind of mid-pack. Stage caution is lap 50. Yes, we should have Lucky Dogs. I don't really remember toggling that on, but I haven't run the race without them, so it should be on by default. Man, it was also a messy restart. A lot of, like a big gap between every car off the restarts. Some cars got the run, some didn't. Jordo drops to the bottom, leads lap 50. Now the 62, I think, is in a good spot right now, at least in terms of the line that it's running. Might be able to cycle up and pass the 3. The 3's going to take the lead. It's going to drop to the bottom. Bill Elliott's just going to go down to the bottom. He's content with second place, I guess. Ash is certainly making moves up the racetrack. I don't know if she's the first car lap down right now. Certainly possible. Yes, she is. Will that stand? That's going to lead a lap. It's going to help him out. This point's only awarded for leading the most laps. You don't get the single point for leading 1. As that middle lane's going nowhere. In fact, it's falling apart. Cars from that inside lane gonna have to make the move to the outside. Try and pass Pat, because otherwise, I don't know if anything's going on. Ash just dropped to the bottom. Oh, look, it's gonna be me that makes a move to the outside. I'm gonna get a couple friends. No. Everybody's stinking about it. Now a couple will act. Now they're back to the bottom. They want to go. They want to race, and they just know it's probably not smart. Well, now the 43 is not going to have any prayer. As, oh boy, the 62 has gotten buried back in traffic all the way back to 25th place. He sees that 3-car earn 10 stage points. It's not done, but it might as well be done. Hell, even if both of them don't earn stage points, they're going to have a chance. I'll tell you what, 1 car, especially if the 3 drops out of the top 10, or even if the 4 of Austin on the inside, 4th in line on the inside, is able to earn more stage points than Pat. There's still a chance there, too. We're running out of time in this stage. Great Laster up in front of the 62, forcing a 3rd line with no help, and he needs to get back down to the bottom. Don't get a freight train back there. Passes have finally been made on Pat. That outside lane is going. And the 62 is in it. And there's enough time to get to the front, especially with the momentum that line had. Misery now to lead. Just need for that 62 to see continual cycles. In the middle lane, or I guess the outside lane, there's only 2 lanes. The inside, that's going to help that car out even more. Especially if that lane gets more help from people on the inside. Right now, the lanes are just about even. Which honestly is not that good. See if the outside can get a run again. Jeff's a little wobbly up there. Not running too cleanly. 5 to go in the first stage. Our NASCAR Chat Series finale at Talladega. Ricky Bobby leads from Miss Sari, Jeff, Red Wings, and Squid, your top 5. 62's closing in at least, and now Pat is outside the top 10. And your two championship contenders are running side by side. The 62 gonna have the advantage for the moment in the better lane. The outside continues to get stronger, continues to make moves. Oh yeah, look at that. D. Kuzmic is inside the top 10 as this first stage is winding down. And oh man, what a stage win for that 62 would do for the championship race. Now, Cal Naughton dropping into third there. That's not great, but it might give a better run to the outside lane, Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart to the bottom, the old gamer on the outside. Third in line is the 62, Pat Barry back in it now. Back to 16th. I'm sorry if Pat feels like I'm rooting against him here. It's just more rooting for chaos. Rooting for a good race for the points down to the very end. The old gamer is your leader, but the 62 leads the outside lane. Maybe that's too soon, because if the 3 gets back to the outside, he's got some time to make something happen. Man, it would be a terrible time for that outside lane to do nothing. The first car one lap down, by the way. The car directly in front of her. The 23 of Smee is. Will Power trying to make a third line happen. Carl Edwards going to join him. Will Power back down to the bottom, and I think Carl's going to do the same. Pat down to 18th. D. Kuzmic to second. Gotta be careful here. We still have 2 to go. 2 to go in this opening stage. If I was 62, I wouldn't try and pass the 56 lane. But he's gonna. Oh, he was clear. He will take it. With 2 to go in the stage. But man, oh man, if he's able to hold this. Outside lane, not doing much right now. Falling back, in fact, for Carlings. Oh, what a turn of events. This has the possibility to be. The 3 is still on that inside lane, and even if it's not a stage win, you're gaining points. Pat's back to 20th. Does the outside lane have enough as we come to 1 to go in this first stage? I think they do. To pass the 62, but how far back will he fall? There are 2 car lengths back now. Middle lane looks strong. Outside lane is, well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2.5 car lengths back is Mark Martin. They're making a charge. Should get a great run down the back. Might be able to deny a stage win for D. Kuzmic, but we will see. Martin is nosed ahead. Plenty of cars looking to freight train him. The good news for the 62 is that the 23 and the 46, they're a lap down. Sitting third in the stage for right now. Lucas from the outside lane on the front straightaway is going to come around to win stage 1. Auto stages just flat out doesn't work. The caution has come out. The final results for the first stage. Lucas wins it, Haley Deegan, Mark Martin, Caleb D. Kuzmic in 5th. Rowdy Burns, Yo Gamer, Carl Edwards, Brayton Laster in 9th. Dollar in 10th. So that stage win for Lucas notable because his previous best stage finish was second on the year, and that was all the way back at Homestead, Miami. He had only ever finished in the stage points in 10th since, and that happened 4 separate times for the number 9 car, and maybe it is just his day. It's a good points battle brewing here with the 62 and the 3. The 62 now just 8 points back in total of Pat, your points leader, as stage 2 begins. And what the fuck was that restart? Despite terrible restarts for just about everybody outside of top 4, a lap later we're all back together again, as it is Yellawood who leads. And this should mean more for the 56, because again, led the points for so long, but here down the stretch it really has gone bad for him. And already look who's back inside the top 10, battling for the lead. That 3. Despite a bad finish, the stage 1 does still hold that 8-point lead over the 62 of Yellawood. Austin did not finish in the stage points in stage 1. A lot's got to go right. I don't even know if it's mathematically possible for the 4 car anymore. But maybe he can still win a race, even though that's not what Austin wants. But I mean, the goal of DFL, that's already gone. Pat to the lead. Unsurprising. Cars had speed to get to the front all day, but it's just not, hasn't been able to stay there, really. Not like the 89. And speaking of the 89, post-yellow flag really hasn't made up that much ground. Sit back. It's one of the last cars on the lead lap. All the way back at the end of the field. Back Gundy to 48. The last car in the lead lap. Going to come around the outside to make the move to put the 89 as the last car. Oh, I was thinking that was for the lead. No, it's not. Yellawood back to the point. It's clicking mid-pack. Here on lap 68, Pat wants the lead back. And the fact that we have him in the 62 even up front at the same time, it's good. We want a good finale, regardless of the result. Even when it appears it's down to these 2 cars, the fact that they're both up here top 5 is fun. And I mean, this series has just found a way to do that. And I mean, there's no manipulation for me. Not really possible. All these cars all year, the same stats, the same everything. Some have had better luck than others. And the 2 with the best luck. 10 races. Sitting 1 and 3 right now. Back on the lead lap, wave around. Great push at the end of stage 1. Now back up inside the top 5. Oh, lucky dog needed at least. First times in a little bit that we've seen the outside lane making up some ground. I don't know if it's going to stick. There's not a lot of cars out there. But there might be enough to really get something going. Yeah, DFL lost its dream a long time ago. Long time ago. You just decided to go on a good mid-season run and work your way up. I mean, this Ford car, I'll tell you, it was sitting mid to back of the pack in points much of the year, but has rattled off good finish after good finish to sit third in points as things stand. Maybe that's where the pass for the win will be. Out to the outside, and his points rival sitting right in behind. Not sure if he got stuttered from the game or what it is. I guess I don't need my browser open. I was probably using up a lot of RAM. At the end of the first stage, I tried to see if I could update auto stages, see if there was an update that I needed that would make that app actually work, but not the case. The 89 being backed up in traffic, the 3 and the 62. Just continuously get back up to the lead. Both cars have been there. Neither one of them really stays there for all that long. But they're battling for a key 5 points tonight. That dropped the anchor on the inside lane. It means Steve Cruz making the 62. Leads this race again on lap 72. Won't lead the lap though. Belongs to Mark Martin. There is only one car, one lap down, and where might he be? Will Power. That is your Michigan winner and one of the more impressive runs we saw all year. Will Power with some big contact in that race. Got into it. One of the worst wrecks we had seen at the time. Caved in the nose of that car. And yet, from that point on, after the damage had been done, the 12 car got better. Wound up winning that thing. Travis Mastrano. Mastrano, of course, your winner back at Homestead. Didn't Mastrano win 2 races this year? I feel like he did. Well, new leader, and who saw this coming about, I don't even know, 15 laps ago. Ash was a lap down. This car stalled on the pit lane out of gas. But with the right luck and the right run towards the end of stage 1, it's like it didn't happen. Caleb back to the front. Prior to this season, where he hasn't won at Daytona or any of the super speedways, to be exact, the 35 was kind of just a Daytona ace, going back all the way to the Gran Turismo and to the Mazdas. Caleb won the GT class in Gran Turismo. We did that series, the short-lived endurance series over there. One of the Mazdas at Daytona. Wasn't able to get it done this year. Either trip to the World Center of Racing. Flash back to the lead. Evo just wanted a third line, I guess. He's going to go help out Gundy and Bill Elliott. Back to the point. He's certainly got a lot more staying power here in stage 2 than the 62 does, but with such a long way to go in this stage, 46 to go in stage 2, not urgent. It's not urgent yet. And I mean, there's a pit stop to be had. Everybody in the field's going to have to make a pit stop. And important to note that those top four that had that breakaway to start this stage, there were cars that stayed out. Lucas, your stage winner was one of them. You did not. You did not get stage 1 points. The points lead is down to 8 over the 62. Early on in stage 2, it's looking good. As we were just talking about, a long way to go in this stage. Let's pick somebody good to go on board with. How about Evo around Talladega? Picked a good candidate to go on board with there for a second. The 24 was going to the front. How the fuck did this happen? Natalie Decker is in the lead. Remember, in stage 1, she was one of the 4 cars that dropped back, lost the draft. Oh! Around goes Yellawood, and the yellow flag will come out. Out of turn 2. It's our first incident yellow of the day. I'm not sure. There appears to be damage on the front of that car. Wow, I didn't think we were going to see a wreck today. So we will head up to Blimp Cam and watch YoGamer, the 56, center your screen. And what does he do? Oh! It was Aiden in the 5 that just comes up and clears out the 56. So there is some light damage, but everybody's going to get to continue. And another important note that we haven't... I don't know if we've talked about it yet. Everybody does have one faster pair. I think this view with YoGame are going to confirm what we thought. The 5... I don't know if he... Whoa! Okay, I see what happens. And Ash is going to have PTSD seeing that. I think the 5 bounced up in the air for no reason at all and got into him. So... I feel bad for everybody involved. I'm not sure if it was anybody's fault but the sim. So this just to confirm what we thought. I'm fairly certain you're going to see that 5 car just bounce up in the air. Yup. Sure did. Well, it's unfortunate. But what you going to do? Everybody's going to get to go on, though. That's the good news, and nobody's going to have to get towed, so... Well, I know you can come from the back to the front really quickly here at Dega. If I was the 62 and the 3, I don't know if I would have wanted to pit and get back into the pack, especially after the yellow flag that we just saw. Evo and Gundy. Caleb and Bill Elliott just behind will lead the field. Back to green at Talladega. We'll see what kind of restart we get this time. Wrecked on lap 1 and in the Daytona 500 and gonna lead here in the season finale. Gundy off the restart. Here's your race leader. 43 hasn't had a lot of good luck on its side this year. Not the only car, but certainly one of the worst lucks seen all year. Evo off the restart, loses 5 places. Now back into 7th. But he's stuck in that inside lane. There's nothing he can do. You got cars on your outside, which he does. There's nothing to be done. Taylor back to the front. Not his first time at the point today. Not uncommon for us to see somebody stay at the front of the field off a restart. For at least a little bit of time. Think back to the 89. He led a good portion of the early stages of this race. Has now at least made his way out of, like, the last positions on the racetrack. He's closing in on mid-pack. Really not doing a whole lot because the back portion of that group just wants to flirt with moving to the outside. 62, I think, is making a good decision at the moment, staying true to the middle. I think that lane's got a whole lot more hope than the outside lane does, despite cars still thinking about going out there. Caleb leads his 2nd consecutive lap. Only 2nd, Martin Truex Jr. 3rd, Carl Edwards in 4th, Ricky Bobby 5th, Evo, well, forget everything I just said. Oh, now we're back. I could continue on, but it's almost pointless doing a running order here at Talladega. Subject to change. The lane looks fairly strong right now. 62 still back in it, but not able to really go anywhere. I don't know, maybe he's just laying back. He's actually going to jump back out to the outside, but he has made up a position on Pat, who is actually sitting down in 30th right now. Long way to go. It's not a concern unless the 3 car somehow loses the draft. It's not in a situation where that would be a thing just yet. So there is your Daytona 500 winner, the 43, back up at the front of the field. Everybody is fairly close in terms... Actually, I was looking at the wrong thing. In terms of their pit lap, I mean, people either pitted on lap 62 or 79. It appears. And a lot of the cars up front right now actually pitted on lap 62. In fact, the top 12 pitted on lap 62. Tires, of course, not really a concern here at Talladega. Not a concern. The middle or outer lanes right now. Well clear. However, Caleb gonna jump out to the outside. Looks like he's gonna stick there, and he's actually just gonna, on his own accord, lose a spot. But gives more strength to that outside lane, more cars to try and make a run. The back of the pack's so disorganized. Got 3 different lanes and none of them are going anywhere. Around about 100 laps to go in this finale. 88 laps in. Incident yellow. A far cry from our last last race at Bristol, which saw what would have been a NASCAR record for cautions. Jordo right now in the front of the field. Potential to just throw a wrench into everything. I think the 3 and I think the 62 would certainly be in the running for most laps led. They've both been up the front of the field for a lot of the day, but long stretch of laps led like this, at least for Dega standards, 3, 4, 5 laps in a row, whatever it might be, that can turn some things around, especially if this car leads some laps later in the race. Certainly going to lead lap 89 here. Middle lane, 4 car lengths back. Now about 3.5. I don't know why I'm even calling the outer lane a lane. It's like Yo Gamer, Pat, Smee's out there. I think I see Cal Naughton. It's like a group of 4 or 5 cars. Mark's back there. I was saying they're not really going anywhere, but now look at them. Clear on the outside. I don't see how they have any momentum with just 5 of them grouped up. 3 and the 62, back of the pack, and still racing close together. Pat's got the edge for the moment. Bill Elliott, 6th in line on the middle, going to give more strength to the outer lane. Now you might start to see that middle lane move up a little bit. Challenge Jordo for the lead of this race. Longest stretches of time anybody spent in the lead in a long time. Austin's made his way back up to the front. He earned stage points as things stand right now, but like I said, it's so hard to say right now without during every stage break just crunching numbers the whole time. I'm not going to say the 4 is mathematically eliminated, but I think he's damn close, if he isn't yet. Evo, 5th in line, jumps up to the middle. We're on lap 92, and now that middle lane finally getting going again. Thanks to the 24, that was what they needed. He is the 3rd lane. Important to note again that these cars that pitted on lap 62, their pit stop's coming. And so then the cars that pitted on lap 79, I don't know if they can make it. It's gonna be tight. Especially with it being on lap 79. Now, lap 80, 81, I guess, ran under caution. You save a little bit. But man, it's still kind of a tight window. We saw the dominoes start to fall in stage 1 on lap 38. That's before it started to pit. If I remember correctly, back at Daytona, let's see if we can pull this up. See who that was at. I thought it may have been the 43, but now that I think about it a little more, I think I'm wrong. Now that car does have one instance of leading the most laps in a race. By the spreadsheet, I can't tell where that was. We would have to look at the results of that, but has led the most laps in races this year. This is a strong qualifying performance to do the same again. And then look at who might have the fastest lap. I see a 49.05. I see a 49.0, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I don't think there's any in the 48s. Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now has that at the 49 flat. That's another one that's so hard to tell. You just have to scroll it real quick. It's easy to miss something, so sorry if there is anybody out there faster, but I didn't see anybody in the 48 range. Lap 62 pitters. Been out here for over 30 laps. Around lap 100. A little bit longer. 101, 102. With those laps saved under caution. We might finally have a battle again. For the first time in a while. The middle lane has grouped up enough cars with it. It's just 2 lanes right now. The 43 loses the lead for the first time in, I don't even know, probably 10 laps. Tony Stewart will drop to the bottom. Big bobble there for Caleb. Might have been a push from Ash, I don't know. Stewart's got a pretty big gap there. 43 clear to the outside. I think she might be, but will not take it. Just flirting in the 3rd lane again on lap 97. 24 to go in stage 2. The pack is broken up again. Kind of how we wound up into that spot. Leading a long way the first time. Caleb with a push from Ash to the lead. Any lap 79 pitters up here right now? Actually, Ash is the lead one of them. As things stands when the dominoes start to fall, 46 would be in real good shape. They just never really grouped up enough cars there on the outside. But now with the lanes kind of even, the cycle is slower, but it certainly is still possible. TV2 is just so zoomed out. I really shouldn't even bother with that game ever. Ash leads. Be quite the comeback story if this 46 car is able to pull off a win here at Talladega for the 2nd time this year. I'd like to know if there's anybody in NASCAR history that has ever run out of gas anywhere on the racetrack, let alone the pit lane. Come back to win a race. Over halfway. The NASCAR Chat Series finale. About to take lap 100. And we'll see if I'm right. Lap 101, 102, that's when I'd expect some moves to the pit lane. Maybe a little sooner. Maybe my math was bad. Who knows? We'll drop back into the wider view as we do approach pit stops. Ash will lead from Aiden. And I guess, what a comeback for Aiden. Not to discredit what he did. He got the iRacing voodoo. His car popped up in the air, got into the 56 who's still running. He's in good shape, top 10. I think our first incident yellow of the day. The 2 cars that were at the center of it, both running inside the top 10 right now. And TBNR cars, man. Pitted by himself. And helped out by a multitude of factors, has found his way back to the front. And another car, I think, he can have another long stint at the lead. Could contend for most laps led. I'll steal this one from him, which is a surprise. First time my car's led all day. It's kind of been buried back in traffic. Now I am among the lap 79 pitters as well. We really are just seeing the cycle right now. Nobody's really making a move to the outside, trying to really get anything done. I think they know that pit stops are coming. Ricky Bobby takes over the point. First time he's led today. I was wrong on lap 101. I guess we just don't know how much fuel is actually saved under the yellow flag. But we're nearing about that point. Mentioned Travis Pastrana much today. Really haven't mentioned Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's now second in line on the outside. The nationwide scheme and what's this scheme? It's a cool one for me as a Dale Jr. fan. You know, he hadn't won at Talladega in so long, and the scheme was the one which he did. Not only cool to see it on track, but cool to see it near the front. As Dale Earnhardt Jr. so often was. Especially here at Talladega. Mainly here at Talladega. Wasn't near the front a lot of other places, but it's the life of being a Junior fan. Pied Piper dropped to the bottom. The iRacing AI, nobody's really the Pied Piper here. Riley Burns will take over that top spot. In terms of the points battle, coming up Pat right now. Pat's worked his way back up to the front. He's another one of the lap 79 pitters under that last yellow flag. I guess that is an important note when it comes to D. Kuzmic, who is at the tail end of this pack right now, is that he should have the fuel to go the rest of the distance in stage 2. And a good chunk of the cars that are coming right now do not. I'd say over half the field stayed out under that last yellow flag. We have an outside lane brewing. No pit stops yet. Whenever I see that third line really get going in numbers, I'm always thinking like, okay, pit stops are imminent. Both times I've thought that I've been wrong. El Jefe to the point. He's had races. He's been close at times this year. Has not been able to get that job done. A winner only in Gran Turismo and some of our endurance races. Long time this year. That 55 car was last. In the point standings, pit stops are beginning. Wrong pit lane, Cam. I think it's Jordo and Caleb, and it is. Sure is. So a little bit off on the math. Lap 106 is when the dominoes will start to fall. This is up front. It's a lap 62 pitter. Jeff Gundy. Go back. Aiden. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Travis Pastrana, lap 62 pitters. Everybody working For everybody racing this tight together. And there's a good chunk of cars coming down. I chose the wrong pit lane cam again. Jeff Gundy, Aiden, Tony Stewart, Ricky Bobby, Cal Naughton. To the pit lane this time around. Rowdy Burns will inherit the lead. Pastrana's still out here. Squid was a lap 62 pitter. Dale Jr., Austin, I think TBNR cars as well. And then it really is just gonna be a race. As look at the 62. Pit stops begin, and that car is back up at the front of the field. Down 8 points. More cars to the pit lane. Pastrana, Squid, Evo, Austin, Dollar Sign, Brayton Lester, and I think Kaylee Deegan. Anybody else? Dale Jr., Bill Elliott. TBNR cars. Carl Edwards, Mark Truex Jr. Those are the cars that are left of the lap 62 pitters. So primarily, in terms of the race for the stage points, these all-important stage points, this is what you're looking at. It's going to be a small group of cars. And I think all these guys have made the right move, and they might, if they have enough to make it to the end of the stage, they could trap a good chunk of the field a lap down. Assuming nothing like this happens, with cars coming out of the pit lane. Trapped up in this, we could have a messy finish for the stage. Brayton Lester in on the bottom. They're going to try and make their way around. Pat is through. There's going to be more bullets to dodge. There's no doubt about that. Ashel knows in front. Once again, we have a little bit of a repeat of Dega the first time. I got to go check on Carl Edwards. What's going on here? He is run out of gas, and that means the yellow flag has to come out. We have a 7-lap sprint to the end of stage number 2. 2 championship contenders. Pat is 14th. D. Kuzmic 19th. Those are big spots. Big focuses on this restart. Any one of those is able to steal some stage points. Could seal or claw yourself right back in to a championship. Bill Elliott will lead the field to green. Darlington winner Squid on the outside. 7 to go in stage 2 at Talladega. I'll tell you what, the 62 might have some problems unless he's able to get to the middle. He's clear back there to jump to the middle lane. Does not do it. Things close in. However, it's 3 and Pat. Points leader by 8 is on that outside lane that hasn't been able to do much today. Evo is your leader on lap 115. And if that outside lane doesn't get going anywhere but backwards. Oh, yeah. Now, so if those two, the 62 and the 3, they finish out of the stage points, more or less a nothing burger. It's still up for grabs in stage 3. If one is able to get that gap closer or extend it even further. We got something on our hands here. Middle lane now does contain the 3-car of Pat. That is great news for him, because that should at least give that middle lane a chance. It's not really going much of anywhere right now. As Evo continues to lead this thing, now it starts to build the momentum. 3 and the 63 are side by side in the middle of the pack. Pat actually dropped back a little bit. 62 not clear to jump up. Now they're side by side again. Not top 10, your positioning here doesn't really matter. The 3 drops back. 5, Pete Dollarsign drops to the middle. That really gives Pat a spot back. Down the laps in stage number 2. Nobody's been able to pass Evo as of yet. Bill Elliott leading the middle lane is close. There is some semblance of a third line forming. Right now, there's not really much in terms of points implications going on. Oh, I did not like that move wherever Ricky Bobby was going mid-corner. But it works out for everybody. 62 of D. Kuzmic is actually working his way up here. Very much flirting with stealing even more points away from Pat, sitting in 11th. And if that middle lane continues to go nowhere, the inside lane will power through. 62 will be able to steal a point away. Pat's out there leading the outside lane. I mean, like I said, a lane that hasn't gone anywhere all day. They can put it together. They can stay where they are. He's been able to really pass out there. And would you look at it? D. Kuzmic in the 62 into 9th. 2 valuable points. If this is going to hold, 2 to go in stage 2. Apologies to Evo, of course, at the front of the field. He's leading this. He's led ever since the restart. Messieri trying to make a third line up front. Got help from Bill Elliott. D. Kuzmic has actually dropped back with that middle lane gaining momentum. And look at Pat on the outside. All by his lonesome, making a late push into 12th. Oh boy. And the 62 just dropping like a rock. 1 to go in this stage. We're 4 wide in some places. Nah, we're just 3 wide. Never mind. 62 should slide up right in front of the 3. He's not going to do it. 3 might be able to make a pass, and he's actually got into 9th place. I guess the AI is not aware of the point situation. Pat's up into 8th. Valuable points indeed. Evo, ooh, that was problems. Slows up that inside lane. Might guarantee some solid stage points for Pat, as Aiden is going to come to the line. Red Wings looks to the outside. He's got nothing there as stage 2 ends. So stage 2 ends with Pat picking up 6th place in the stage. So we'll do some math and see what the situation is as we're about to enter the final stage of the season. Well, we are heading in to the final 64 laps of the season. The points gap, Pat with 278, D. Kuzmic with 265. It is mathematically still on for D. Kuzmic, despite Pat earning more points in stage 2 to build that gap back up to around about where it started. He starts 4th here in this final stage on the outside lane, but a long way to go in this thing. There's cars a lap down. I don't know how the hell that happened outside of Carl Edwards running out of gas. We're gonna get the final stage of the year underway. Red Wings leads. Hasn't been relevant since Daytona, but he's back up front now. What Evo said. 6th place finish in stage 2. Gets that points lead back up to 13. And running way better than D. Kuzmic right now. Kuzmic stuck back in 23rd. Now, I didn't pay a lot of attention. I don't think we had a couple takers during the pit stops or during the stage break rather. Trying to see if D. Kuzmic was one of them. He was not. So now there's a bit more of a spread. Anywhere from lap 106 to lap 122 in terms of the pit strategy. All we know is that nobody can make it to the end of this race. There's no point trying. But that throws a big wrench into it. It really does. For Pat, he did last pit on lap 111, so one of his final pit stop coming sooner than some others. There weren't many takers on lap 122. None of them were too impactful, I guess we'll say, in terms of the 3 cars or 2 cars that are racing for a championship here. But there's enough pit strategy chaos to potentially flip this thing on its lid. Having mention B $ very much today. He leads here on lap 129. Miss Airy to try and power through on the outside. Not a big push from Bill Elliott. Now she'll get one. I mean, your first half of the year did that as well. Had a nice comeback mid-season, but was never really much of a hope. But hey, you were a first All-Star race winner. That pit call will be remembered forever. And oddly enough, and I think without any damage, it's got a little damage, just scraping. Rowdy Burns to the pit lane. Now, if I could, I would check and see what his last pit lap was. But once he went to the pits, I wasn't expecting anybody to go. And for Rowdy, I mean, he's got to pit again, so I'm not sure what the plan was there. I guess we'll see if any more of those lap 106-ish pitters decide to go. I don't think they will. Kuzmic has made some moves toward the front. He's still stuck on the inside lane, 23rd, but he's made up places since the restart. And what it would be for Pat, with some pressure on, I mean, and you know, you think back to the Mazda series. Who were the two cars, or who was one of the drivers, I guess, with a chance to win that series in the final race, had an incident very early on? It was the 3 car. It was Pat in the Wrangler colors. Certainly be something for this car to just win the race today. And a race sold out. And he's been up front a lot. It would make a lot more sense if it was rigged for Pat, but he's had some crazy luck. The good part about all this is that it is luck. Rig jokes aside, all our chatters with the same attributes, same stats, it all comes down to luck. But I mean, Pat trying to put himself in at least current greatest of chat series history. You join in the Gran Turismo series. He was the prototype champion. A race winner in Gran Turismo. He's a race winner in Mazdas. He's a race winner here in NASCAR. Add a championship to that resume. Kuzmic makes up another spot. There's still a long ways to go in this race. He's kind of just stuck. The 62 is down on the inside lane. Nowhere really to go. Nowhere really to jump up. Nowhere to try and make moves. Back here with Evo, Nash, and Jordo, and myself, for that matter. There's still time. Quick check-in, by the way, on Rowdy Burns. He's out here, but he's running by himself, and maybe this is a wrinkle in this race. Stage 1 winner Lucas Noses out in front here on lap 134 with help from Tony Stewart to get around Gundy. And he'll drive. Natalie Decker second in line on the outside. That car has led briefly today. Tony Stewart as well. There's very few cars that haven't led here in this finale at Talladega. It'll be interesting to go back when this race does end. And see if there are any cars that didn't lead a lap in this race. Because I feel like most of everybody has. to go on our finale. Pat's still holding on strong. I think D. Kuzmic has made up more places, and oh, has he ever. On the outside, it's the third lane. That is where D. Kuzmic resides, and that's where he's been able to make up some spots. With Jeff, Jordan, myself, Ash in tow. Cal Naughton, Carl Edwards, Ricky Bobby, and Austin also in that line. It is how quickly things change. Here at Talladega, Natalie Decker getting a push from Aiden, who's had an interesting day, to the lead. He won what I believe is his first stage of the year there in stage 2. Mid-season edition. But think back to qualifying. Aiden Mark Martin with an incident on pit road. Right, wasn't that Lucas? Aiden had the, you're right, it was Lucas that got spun on pit road by Mark Martin. Aiden had the incident with Yo Gamer, as Red Wings will drop to the lead. One incident yellow today, and that was it. Aiden got ashed, if we will. Car randomly popped up in the air. Evo, that happened to you towards the end of stage 2, but everybody kept it straight. But yeah, got in too close to a car behind, popped up in the air, and the old gamer got spun as a result. And think about the day TV in our cars has had. He's about to lead the outside lane and maybe about to lead the race again. Was early on, I'd say, the dominant car. The 89. With about the first 30 laps of this race. And a bad pit strategy. Pitted by himself at Talladega, which is never a good idea. He's going to lead lap 137. 3 wide. This is getting dicey. Pat's back in 19th. D. Kuzmic is up into 10th. Not enough positions right now to earn a championship. 62's got to go forward, or the 3's got to go backwards. Or both. Middle 2 lanes kind of going away. Lane led by the 89, looking good. However, it's split up again. Split. Your Darlington winner. Of course, former Indianapolis 500 winner. Gonna pop out to the middle lane, take the lead. 50 to go. I'm not sure we've gone on board with D. Kuzmic all day. He's buried back in 16th after some shuffling. But we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Lap and a half on gyro cam. How about that? Inside lane is not where moves are made. Inside lane's where you go backwards. Middle, sometimes outside is what it takes. 62 with a long uphill battle. While we were on board with the 62, the 3 of Pat did lead. And has already dropped outside of the top 10. Heading back in the direction. I just got a new laptop today. It's sitting right over here. And my cat is looking to jump on it and scratch it. All to hell. Late push for Red Wings, by the way, in this race. Wasn't really anywhere to speak of. Throughout the first 2 stages, really made his first appearance towards the front of the field late in stage 2. Meaning the outside lane is your stage 1 winner in Lucas. Yeah, but it's a middle chassis and its finish is really nice. Please don't scratch it up. I love you. One touch of a nail on that thing and he's gonna wreck the shit out of it. In terms of most laps led, think about it. I mean, Jordo had a good long run at the front of the field. Red Wings is trying to do something similar now. Overall, it's kind of hard to call. I think TVNR Cars leading a couple laps here in stage 3 might have a chance. Fastest lap, last we checked, was Dale Jr., currently sitting 10th with a 49 flat. I don't see anybody that has dropped it into the 48s. So no chat points awarded there for the moment. Final check on the ticker. Good mix of manufacturers. 5 Chevys, 3 Fords, 2 Toyotas. Lucas leads. Pat sitting top 10. There will be pit stops coming soon for the lap 106 to 111 pitters. Yeah, it's not you. You did have a good run at the front of the field towards the end of stage 2. Led 6 of the 7 laps, I think, after we went back green in that stage. Still buried back on that outer lane. Al Naughton Jr. hasn't been towards the front of the field very much tonight. Neither have I. Pat's just going to go ahead and try and make a third lane. That might be a bad move. He slots back down. However, there's the whole group looking to try and make a third lane. Last on track, but still with the draft. That's the important part. We did see the 4 cars about halfway through stage 1 lose the draft. Messed up their race. Will Power was one of them. He still hasn't gained that lap back. New leader. Me. Not the first time today, but for a seldom time today. I'm out of it in terms of the championship. Race winner back in the Coke 600 in June. Rather, May. That race happens in May. It's a long season, NASCAR. Extended for no reason other than I've been busy as hell and we haven't been able to get this race in. This was supposed to happen around a month ago. And Pat is looking real good. Looking real good right now. 42 to go. Still so much time for things to go wrong, though. A bad pit stop. Poorly timed yellow flag. A lot of things could hinder the 3 still. He's got to beat the 62 car by 13 places. Which in a field of 32 does help him out. I mean, you know, be a little bit more possible if we had a full 40 car field. Maybe we experiment with that heading into next year. I know my old CPU could only ever handle 32, 33 cars. Never really tried a full 40 car field with the current one, so maybe there's hope yet. I mean, Talladega, it's always possible. You always look out for the big one. Yes, the other way around. He has to beat you by 13 places. I mean, if you finish top 13, yes, it doesn't matter where he is. 62 has to finish in front of the 3 by 13 spots. Unless one of them wins the race, then it gets a little bit more complicated. Race winner is worth more points than just any other position on the track. And a check in on the 62 car. 27th. I mean, I'd say he doesn't have anywhere to go. He could move up like Deegan just did, and at least try it. I mean, look at the run that Deegan got. She just gained 3-4 places just like that. What the fuck was that? I have no idea. Tony Stewart entered the pits, I suppose. And that stacked up the whole field. I certainly hope that cars don't lose the draft because of it. And that might very well be the case. Now Ash is going to help the 62. Maybe try and catch the draft back up. But man, that's a big gap. And with the 3-car top 5, that's some big time problems. Smee is actually your leader, the 35 in Caleb. Debris yellow has been called. Once again, we have to manually type those in, but the yellow flag is out with Caleb in the lead. Pat third. And for the majority of the field, I feel like this is just going to put them back on the same strategy. And we're going to have a straight-up race to the win with probably just over 30 to go. We will have 33 laps to go in the season when we head back to green after a couple more corners. Does it look good for Pat right now? Yes, it does. He sits 7th, 4th in line on the inside. In terms of D. Kuzmic, does it look good for him? Of course it doesn't. He sits all the way back in 28th place. But how many times? Today alone, we've seen a car go from the front to the back and the back to the front. There's still time remaining. The 62 to stun us all and become champion. Cal Naughton Jr. and Tony Stewart lead the field back to green. First lap back under green, going to be led by B $. Both Pat and, well, I was going to say Dick Kuzmic made smart moves off the restart, positioning themselves in the middle to outer lanes. Kuzmic did not. He had actually dropped to the bottom. Flirted with that outside or the middle lane again, but then dropped to the bottom again. He's in the back of the pack. Cal Naughton freight trained off the restart. Back into 5th place. 3 lines forming. And your points leader, second in the middle lane. He finishes in front of the 62. It is all said and done. 62 gets in front of the 3. And we've got a race on our hands. Natalie Decker looking to take the lead. I think it'll take a little bit of calculation. I have been keeping track of the non-chat cars finishes. I'm not sure who's going to win the championship in that. I think Travis Pastrana was the leader last I knew. And what a disaster right now for the 62. Last in the pack. Gotta make some moves. Gotta make some moves as we are coming to 30 to go. The winner of the race, kind of secondary. Even though I'm sure anybody watching that has a car in the field might be a little invested. Wants to win a race at Talladega. And in terms of the championship, it's the 3 or the 62. But there are plenty of cars in this field still looking for their first NASCAR Chat Series win or their first win in any of the Chat Series we've done. B $, to be one of those guys. Red Wings would be 2. Lucas actually would be 2. TBNR cars, despite limited results, second in line on the outside. Or, limited races, I guess we'll say. He's got a chance to win one early. Back up towards the early race stage of the pace for that car. 62 is still not going anywhere. Talladega, of course, super speedway tracks in general, prone to first-time winners. The nature of racing. We only have another one today. And wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if it was Jeff? The car I've been rooting to win a race for a long time. Now, he had some success in Gran Turismo. He has had some Chat Series success in the endurance racing side of things. But in NASCAR, man, this season's been brutal. And these finale races or these non-points races in terms of the All-Star race win for Evo. They've been big for drivers that haven't had a lot of success. El Jefe, unfortunately, right now, one of those. Sign continues to lead. I still love that scheme on the 94 Bill Elliott. That has dropped outside the top 10, but not by much, sitting in 14th, middle lane, where he wants to be to get the job done. This middle lane gets momentum, and they cycle through. 3-car eventually leads. That opens the door for the 62, for sure. If he's ever able to get to the outside lane. He's just kind of stuck himself there. Back of the pack, inside, not going anywhere there. our cars back to the front. And we'll lead a few laps here. And again, I'm still just guessing in terms of most laps led in this race. But I think that 89 car might be up there. He's led it various times today. Even though he joined the series late, never really had any hopes of a championship. That car going into next season would certainly be a good building block for sure. Even though it's not like momentum is a thing that carries over in this, given that it's all luck, but just never know. Strong run for Lucas as well. And that's great to see. Results just haven't been there. He's been in every Chat Series race we've ever done. Gran Turismo, Mazda, and now 11 races here in the NASCAR season. And the Hooters cars yet to find victory lane. And his first stage win here tonight, stage 1. Continually looking at the back of the pack. 62 is not doing anything. Nobody's really doing much of anything with 25 laps to go. Smarter may give them credit for. Maybe they're waiting for a little bit later to get a little bit more racy. 15, 10 laps to go before you start to make your move. There really ain't a lot of moves being made right now. Something I saw at a turn 4, the 62, and I don't know if he stuck it up there. He did make a move to the outside. Let's go back and check on D. Kuzmic, and yes, he has moved to the middle lane. And for an interesting points battle down to the end, that's where the 62 needs to be. Something's gotta happen, man. That outer lane isn't doing much of anything. I would think they'd be getting some momentum here. The lanes are about equal. Elliott from 3rd to that outer lane. Now we'll drop back down to the bottom. If anything, Elliott back up to the high side. Got a good push from Decker. 89 might be counting his laps as the season is counting its laps. That outer lane is still going nowhere. Some cars dropping back down to the inside. I see why. TVNR cars. Blair in the lead with 23, about to be 22 to go. Evo's made a move back up to the front. He was leading the outer lane, now jumped in front of by Travis Pastrana. Let's go on board one final time. Somebody we haven't gone on board with yet, which is, of course, a good chunk of the field. You know what? Let's choose Ash in the 46. We'll see what happens in the midst of, I'd say, all this chaos. Nothing really is going on over here. 20 laps to go here in the finale. Pat has backed himself up a bit closer to D. Kuzmic, but that 62 has to start moving towards the front. Maybe not yet. I mean, seen some crazy things, but really all stage 3 long, nobody's been doing much of anything. I'm telling you, that's 2 long stints in the lead of this race for the 89. He might lead the most laps in this thing, if not win the whole damn thing. Pat and D. Kuzmic are 28th and 29th. Pat has backed himself way up. 62's got no help on the bottom. Pat's oddly enough going to be the one to give it to him, as well as Squid. Maybe those cars back there will just reset. 62 will not lose the draft, at least not right now. 19 laps to go. We've been at this for almost 3.5 hours. Relatively caution-free day. 2 debris yellows redeemed by chat. 1 incident yellow to go along with the 2 stage breaks. It'll be quicker than Bristol. We'll give it that. We'll give it that. 18 to go. We do start to see some breakup from the inside lane. Lucas and Cal Naughton bump themselves up there. They finally break the run. TV on our cars as Lucas is to the lead. And it'd be, like I said, we were rooting a little bit for a first-time winner if it wasn't going to be one of the championship favorites. This would be Lucas's first win. D. Kuzmic is still just not making up much of anything. Didn't last long. Cars back to the point. 17 to go at Dega and the season. That's stuck on the inside lane for now. I mean, for as little as we've seen the inside lane move, I mean, D. Kuzmic, it's hard to say he's stuck. He's the last car in line. It's where I get, it's AI, you know, you'd love to see some more urgency from him. Know that he's got a chance to win the championship. But it's why this series and this race is what it is. We are starting to see some motion from the middle lane. And even that outside lane is starting to get something cooking. Unfortunately, it doesn't involve either of our championship contenders. They're both on the inside. What should have been a clutch performance for Yo Gamer. So strong, much of the year. And he got spun in this race too. I mean, credit to him for hanging in there and continuing on. By the way, please don't let Natalie Decker win the finale. Does Austin still have a chance? I don't believe so. I will go ahead and pull the sheet up. I don't think so. He has not earned stage points today. No, I don't think so. Pat, you're at 278. Austin's down at 242. D. Kuzmic at 265. definitely smarter than me. Do the math. But I don't think Austin's still in it. Even if... I would say even if Pat and D. Kuzmic finish last and second to last, it's not even possible. We got 3 cars a lap down. Pat's trying to make a 4th lane on the outside. With 14 laps to go here. But nobody's there. That will allow D. Kuzmic by. Pat might get cycled all the way to the back here. Cal Naughton to the bottom. That might help the middle lane. I'm not sure. D. Kuzmic might have a couple spots on Pat, but it's not enough right now. 14 to go. El Jefe to the lead. I'll tell you what. Outside lane, it's picked up some cars. Pat and D. Kuzmic side by side again. These two have been in tandem all day. They've been close all day. Oh, and I'll tell you what, for Pat, that looks like a really smart move. He dropped to the middle lane, dropped the whole line to the middle lane. Right in behind the 62. So when the 62's making passes, so is the 3. Misseri, pushed by B. $sign to the front. Middle lane's push will continue. $sign clear. The 62 with a bold move, perhaps a Hail Mary. To the outside, and I think Pat's got him covered off on the bottom. No, Pat's gonna join him. And if you're the 3, that's smart. He's gotta beat you by a whole 13 spots to tie. That 3 car just following the 62, that's a good call. 12 laps to go. There are no debris cautions to be redeemed. To add some chaos to the finish of this finale. Misseri, your leader, $sign to the outside. Outer lane was about a car length back. Now Jeff, Natalie Decker, Smee with a push. What could possibly happen in 10.5 laps at Talladega? 62 looked a little bit loose on the entry into 3 there. With the push from the 3. Jeff back down to the bottom, the lead. Coming to 10 to go, we'll go on board one final time. How about TBN or cars? Why not? Laps to go. Guess we'll focus in on the championship battle. See if these two separate at any point. Ash did indeed move off the bottom, but she's gotten herself in behind the championship battle. I'm sure that's the last thing Pat wants to see. Stage 3, the moves have been pretty conservative. Nobody's really moving around. Our 2 championship battlers, center of the string. You're the 62, what do you do? Your box stand. I would go anywhere the 3 car isn't. But that 3 being directly behind, that certainly makes things difficult. I was almost waiting for Ash to just throw a block in on the 3. We'll get back to the lead in a moment. We got a battle for the championship happening here. This is the important stuff to watch. There can only be one first NASCAR Chat Series champion. It will be one of those 2. We're coming to 7 to go at Talladega. There's just nothing anybody can do to get free from the other. I don't think Pat wants to get free from the 62. However, middle lane moving. Oh, 3 car just dropped right back. Hold everything. That's not enough spots to make something happen, but it's enough to give you a little bit of a wrinkle. D. Kuzmic is into 6th. Pat just moved himself into 11th. He's still in that middle lane. Not what the 62 needed to see. It would honestly take a really bad move to the outside by the 3, I think, at this stage, for the 62 to become champion. There's a couple spots made up by the 62. 2 to 3 at a time. It wouldn't be enough. By the way, Smee is your leader in all of this. The ass that uses dude wipes also wears Wranglers. Maybe. Rowdy Burns pushed to the lead. Actually, Rowdy Burns is a lap down. Oh, smart move by the 62 to get right back around that bullshit. 5 to go in the season. And D. Kuzmic leads, but the unfortunate part is his championship rival is right in tight. That is 5 laps away from a championship. D. Kuzmic could come out and win the race if Pat finishes where he is. That's all she wrote. The outer lane losing a bit of momentum. Rowdy Burns, the lap down car, will give that momentum back to the outside lane. Oh, Rowdy Burns, the heel of it all. Pat's gonna have the run with the push from Jordo. Ash is in tight too. 4 to go. Pat will drop to the bottom. If the 62 has an opening on the outside, he needs to take it. Sad part is, I don't see one opening up. Pat could go ahead and win this race for the championship. Let's see how racy they get here towards the end. Ladies that have won Super Speedway races now 1 and 2. Jordo, the Daytona 500. Ash, Talladega back in the spring. 3 to go. Ash will drop to the bottom. You know what? First time winner speaking. Austin on the outside. That's the last thing he wants to see. He's going to drop to the bottom. Guarantee that won't be the case. The 3 and the 62 stuck on the inside. We're getting a true cycle. Right here, right now, Ricky Bobby to the lead. He's the Indianapolis winner at the Brickyard 400. 2 laps to go as we come to the stripe. No room for anybody on the inside to make a move to the outside. Austin might get a run here on Ricky Bobby. No, Aiden with the run on the outer lane. Bobby almost with a little bit of a block there. Kind of not riding around the yellow line. He wanted to try and keep the lead. 2 lanes. It's pretty much been the entirety of stage 2. 1 to go in the season. Something insane has to happen for Ricky Bobby not to win, or Ricky Bobby, for Pat not to win a title. Brayton Laster with a move to the inside for second. Not sure I get that. Travis Pastrana with a run. A race winner already this year. He's got a big push, and he's clear to the lead. It certainly does appear that Pat has guaranteed himself a NASCAR Chat Series title. 62 marred back in traffic, and out of absolutely nowhere, we might have a race to the line. Looks like it's gonna be Travis Pastrana to win the race. But Pat brings it home in 14th and wins the inaugural NASCAR Chat Series Championship. Final running order in the race. Travis Pastrana, Aiden with a solid finish in second. Brayton Laster, NASCAR Chat Series debut, third. Yo Gamer, I've been saying it all race. Should have meant more. The season he had in the first half and even the middle portion of the year. Ricky Bobby fifth, Lucas sixth. One of his strongest runs of the season, the strongest run. Austin seventh, Haley Deegan eighth. Ashton 9th. I'm somehow 10th. I didn't even pay attention. But your champion is the number 3 car. What a year. What a year it was. Trying to get a good look at the thing. There's your winner for Season 1 of the NASCAR Chat Series. NASCAR Chat Series, year number 1. Done. And in terms of the winning move for the championship, I guess this is it. When the 3 car passes 62, but the 3 making all of stage 3 just being about not falling behind the 62 car, staying with him wherever he went so he could not switch some things up, take a different line, make up some places. That is really what won this thing for him. And I mean, after stage 1, man, it was in doubt. It was an 8-point gap. But stage 2 really solidified it. Some odd pit strategy really from both of those championship cars. That was it. And I do want to do an off-season series. I think we're going to go and do the old NASCARs. But that's going to be a couple weeks at minimum away, and when we get the time to do so, it's not going to be a long series for sure. Only going to contain chat cars as far as I'm concerned. And when I get some things solidified for you, I will let you know. But that is how NASCAR Chat Series Year 1 ends. The 3 car is your champion, a race winner at Daytona. What a consistent year. Really didn't have that many bad races. And even his bad races were still pretty damn good compared to the rest of the field. So we'll see you for the off-season series with the Legends. And we'll see you back in Daytona in February for NASCAR Chat Series, season number 2.